I've had a customer bring this piece to me and it's broken. I've made a new one, but how do I get this to look like this? I'll show you how.
As a furniture repair business, we're opening the doors to our workshop to show you the tools and techniques to repair furniture.
What I need to do is take that apart, repair it, and put it back together so I can get this chair in working order.
We give you tips to make your repair projects easier. Let's get into the workshop and start fixing furniture.
I'll be honest with you, I've had problems in the past trying to match stain colors. So I decided to bite the bullet and learn how to do this process. I went to a professional furniture finisher and he walked me through some of his secrets of the trade. I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process of reproducing this stain color so you can see how this is done in an environmentally friendly way. Looking at the existing finish, you can see the dark areas of this oak are quite different than the light areas. And here, all of this wood looks the same. So if I put a really dark stain on this, I'll end up getting darker areas in here and light areas here. But what's actually going on here is these dark areas are a different color than what's on the surface. I've gone through different tests and this was my first sample here, and you can see that I just used one brown stain and it's not giving me the effect I need. I tried this version here and it's a little bit closer, but it's not quite got the right tone in it. I tried this version here with darker stain, and while the lines got darker, so did the rest of the body, so that one didn't work. And I worked on this one, and it's getting a lot closer, but the tones are a little bit different, and these areas weren't quite as dark as what I've got here. So the fourth version I've got is here. I'm really happy with how the stains worked out. So experimentation here on these different finishes has really helped me figure out what works and what doesn't. After talking to my furniture finisher, I realized why I was so confused about these types of finishes. There are shellacs, which are not that durable and susceptible to damage, so he recommended staying away from those. There are oil-based finishes, which have a lot of dryers in them and a lot of chemicals, which means you need an NIOSH approved respirator and organic filters to protect your body from that damage that they can cause. The third is acrylic. And acrylic is the new generation, the new technology in finishing. And that's the product he recommended for me. So I've got a product that he recommended, Saman, and I'll leave a link to that below. This is a product that allows you to stain the wood, has no smell, it's good for you, good for the environment. He also recommended top coating with water-based finishes, and that again keeps you away from the chemicals. So I'm going to show you how I work through mixing up the stains and matching here on this particular project, and you can give it a try as well. There's a few tools and techniques that I was taught, and I'm going to share that with you now. The first thing I'm doing is I'm setting the grain. So what I'm going to do is put black in here across the whole board, and what that's doing is it's going to soak into the grain, and then I'm going to wipe this off. So what I want to do is work that in all the way across the board. I'm just letting it sit on here for about 2 minutes, and then I'll start wiping it clean. Now you can see here in the grain it's drying in various sections, so that's telling me it's ready for me to start wiping it off. So I'm just using a damp paper towel and just scrubbing it. What I need to do is pull that top coat of finish off and leave what's in the grooves. This dries in an hour and it doesn't raise the grain, so it's really nice to work with. The next step is to sand down these areas and get rid of the gray, and then I'm ready for the top coat. So here I've got the antique walnut. I'm just going to pour some on the tray here, and I'm just using a small brush to be able to control the coat that I'm putting on. So I could wipe this whole thing on and then try to wipe it off, But what I've found through experimenting is I want to get the right thickness of the coat on here. So this artist brush just gives me that control. I can do that. So this is where I'm just taking off the excess and getting that consistency that I want to match the tone in the lighter section up here. You see how that black no longer looks black? It's now looking like a dark brown. It's because this is layering on top and just slightly altering that color. And the cleanup for this is just water. If I'm doing this for a fair bit, I'll just rinse it in between and then use a little bit of soap at the end of the day to clean off the bristles. That's it. I'm happy with how this is coming along here. The finish actually changes the color of this as well, so you have to go through the full process. I'll show you the sample here. That full process, this will end up looking like this once the finishing coat goes on. The part that I'm working on now is the edges, and here I've got rough sawn edges, so when I made this I used rough sawn edges, but the stain soaks in differently. So here I've done the opposite. I put the top coat on first, and now I'm going to use a dry brushing technique to mimic the dark stains in there. What I do is get a little bit of the dark walnut stain on the brush, then wipe it off, and then start going across here. And you see how that's now getting as dark as what I've got over here. So just go across this whole piece, dry brush it, let it dry, and then I can put the finishing coat on. So here you can see I finished this edge very similar to this. All that's left is to put the urethane on top to give it the sheen that it doesn't have right now, and it should bring that tone just slightly richer to match that exactly. On this clear finish, it's very rough, so it's got lots of different marks and finishes on it. It's not perfectly smooth, so I don't want this piece to be smooth. If I were to spray it, it would be obvious that this didn't match the other existing pieces that go with this. So what I'm going to use is that same artist brush and put the urethane on in a way that hopefully I get some brush marks in there and leave a little bit of texture so there's some imperfection showing. So I'm just going to put this on here in a haphazard way and then just tip it off. Here's the finished product. This is the old one and this is the new. So I started off with some black stain and then sanding that down, then adding the antique walnut stain, and then on top of that adding some water-based urethane. I really enjoyed the process of staining this piece and getting just the right color. I'm fortunate to have worked with a professional finisher who got me on the right path and using acrylics. His specialty is oil-based products, but he's starting to transition to acrylics and he's convinced this is the way of the future. It's non-toxic and really easy to clean up. If you'd like to subscribe to our channel, you can click over here, but click on the bell icon and then you'll get notified when our next videos come out. Thanks for watching Fixing Furniture.